Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. As you can see, I'm here with a little bit of a different look. You guys are probably used to seeing me with black hair, but you know, it's quarantine and I'm a little bored, so I decided to spice up my look just a little bit. Today, I'm gonna be talking about my undergrad experience, but before I get into the video, make sure you hit that subscribe button. You guys have been subscribing to my channel and I'm so appreciative. We are at 2,100 subscribers, which is absolutely amazing. I am so thankful for the community that we're building, and I can't wait to keep making more videos with you guys and answering more of your questions in the comments. So of course, comment down below if you have any questions. This video actually came from one of you in the comments who asked me to share about my undergrad experience. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. Make sure you share this video as well. And I think that's it. I think I've given you guys enough things to do, so let's get right into the video. So I went to the University of New Haven in Connecticut. It's a really small school in West Haven. Most people don't know about it, but it actually is a top tier school for criminal justice. And I mean, I didn't major in criminal justice and that's not how I found it, but I mean, I digress. They actually sent me an email to apply to their school after seeing my SAT scores. And because the application was waived, I thought to myself, why not? Like, I wanna get out of LA, I wanna get out of California, I wanna go as far away as humanly possible, and Connecticut seems pretty far. So why not apply? I also looked into their bio pre-med program and it seemed like I would be able to get a lot of experience, plus Yale University was within close proximity, so I thought, okay, I can volunteer at Yale New Haven Hospital, or I can even work there during school or after school. So I ended up going to New Haven. I didn't love it at first because it was so small, and it was a culture shock for me because I was so used to city life and LA life, and even though New Haven is a city, it's not like New York or LA or Miami or Dallas or Houston. It's not like a major hub, so it was a huge culture shock for me. Not to mention, so many people came from all different walks of life, and I was so used to like my concentrated suburban life that it was just a lot for me to absorb at once. I assimilated pretty well. I chose to major in pre-med biology because I thought that I wanted to go to med school, but at the same time, I also just loved science. And I thought, even if I don't go to med school, there's something else that I'll be able to do. I'll figure it out along the way. So I just stuck with my pre-med route and I went in as a declared major. I know some people can go undeclared, but I just made that decision to just get in the program all the way, because sometimes when you go undeclared and you try to enter a program, you don't get the classes or you don't get in, whatever, something like that. When I first got to school, my mom was like, do not work. She's like, you don't know New Haven, you don't know anybody, you don't have any friends, you don't have any connections. I would feel more comfortable if you kind of just volunteered, if you really wanted to do some sort of activity outside of school. I didn't love that because I was like, I want the money and I didn't want to do work study because everyone does work study, but I ended up just volunteering because I didn't want to get a job just yet. So in order to gain some sort of experience in science or medicine at all and figure out what I wanted to do, I was like, okay, I need to work in a hospital and kind of figure out what therapeutic areas I like. So I got a volunteer position at Yale New Haven Hospital working on the pediatric oncology unit. Very soon after I started that internship, I hated it. And not because I didn't love the kids, because I absolutely love children. I just realized that I could not be a doctor for them. And I couldn't be a doctor for them. It's crazy because I always said, oh, I want to be a pediatrician. That's what I'm going to do. I don't care. I used to talk to my pediatrician all the time about being a pediatrician. I was dead set on being a doctor for children. After that volunteer position, if you guys are wondering why I'm like talking with a little lisp or something, it's because I have my retainers in. That's why. But I realized during that volunteer program, it just wasn't for me, because when you are a pediatrician, a pediatric doctor, a pediatric, anything with kids, the parents are your patient, the patient is your patient. The relatives, as in the brothers and sisters, are your patient. Like, all the pediatricians I saw had to deal with every single family member. Sometimes there were 6 or 7 family members. Like, there were too many people. And for me, I just felt like I just want to talk to one person. But when you're talking to kids, like, you can't just talk to the kids. And sometimes parents are a little overbearing. So I was like, I cannot do this for the rest of my life where I'm dealing with kids. Already it's sad enough, and then I'm dealing with their parents. What hit the head on the nail for me, or whatever, you know, what sealed it for me, was I was in the playroom working with one of the patients and just like hanging out with them, and they had like stage 4 leukemia, some sort of stage 4 cancer. I don't really remember because it's been almost like 7 years now. 7 years. Yeah, it's been about 7 years now, but they were like, oh, I want to be a volunteer when I grow up as well. Like, you're so much fun, blah, blah, blah. And it kind of just broke my heart because I'm like, I don't know what the life expectancy of this patient is. And to see little people, like children, innocent humans of the world experience that type of pain and like not know what their life is going forward, I was like, this just isn't for me. And I feel like you have to have a certain type of personality, a certain type of heart, a certain type of grit, a certain type of resilience to be a pediatrician. I just didn't feel it for me. And that's how I knew I didn't want to be a pediatrician. So for me, I thought it was really important during my undergrad experience to gain those type of experiences, to realize what I like and what I don't like. And it was so great because I realized that was not for me. So if you're in college right now and you're a freshman, make sure you're getting those internships, those fellowships, those volunteer opportunities so you can kind of explore every region of your major and realize, this is for me or it's not for me. For example, if you're studying criminal justice and you intern for a lawyer, you might be like, okay, law, no. Or you intern for like a precinct or something, you're like, police officer, no. Make sure you're crossing things off your list. So going forward, I interned to my sophomore year. Going forward, I entered it into my sophomore year and I told my mom, I was like, no, I have to work because I want to make money. I feel so broke in college. I need a job. And on top of that, she also told me to get a job anyway because I had to move off campus and housing was just too expensive. My meal plan was too expensive. So it just made the most sense for me to get a job. All my friends were getting a job sophomore year. Like it was like everybody was looking for work that year. I was the only person of my friends who was a biology major, and I had other friends like that I was actually in classes with, but like my actual homies that I hung out with, they were not pre-med. You'll find that a lot, like as a pre-med person, you're probably gonna be the only one among your friend group throughout the years. Like people will just leave or change majors. Like I had friends freshman year that ended up, I graduated solo dolo. So I told my friends, everyone's looking for work, we're all at the mall putting in applications, and I'm like, I'm not working any job that's not related to science, period. I'm just not. What's the point? Why am I gonna get a job working at a grocery store or a movie theater or the mall? I mean, I can have those kind of jobs only if after I've already had a job in my major, because it doesn't make sense. Like, and this is why so many people graduate college and they have no idea what the heck they want to do. They have no idea what kind of jobs are even out there because they took no time to explore their options while they were in school. So I always tell Career Savage clients, like, get that experience while you're in school so you can figure out what the heck you want to do. So for me, I left my friends, and all my friends worked at like, you know, Dick's Sporting Goods, the movie theater, Home Depot, like everyone had jobs. I went to every single pharmacy in walking distance and bus riding distance. I went to every single pharmacy because I thought to myself, the only job I can really think that I can get while being in school that doesn't require a degree is to either work at like a medical office as an assistant, which they'll never hire me because I have to be full-time, or like a strong commitment to part-time. But I was like, what if I work in a pharmacy? So I went to every CVS, every Walgreens, everything, blah, blah, blah. And I walked in and a lot of them were like, apply online, apply online. And I was like, I don't want to apply online because I feel like they're gonna not really look at my application. So finally, after going to like 20, 30, 40, 50 different pharmacies, I got to one that was like 20 minutes away on the bus or a car ride because my friend drove me. And I walked in, I introduced myself to the store manager, and I was like, I want to work here because I'm a pre-med bio major, blah, blah, blah. I literally did an elevator pitch. He smiled and he was like, I like you. Hired me on the spot. And he was like, you're not gonna work in this store, but we're building a new 24-hour CVS down the street from your school, and I'd like you to work there. So I submit my application online as a formality, and then I started working like 3 weeks later. They sent me to a farm tech school, which is like funded by CVS, and I used to go on the weekends. So while my friends were partying or whatever, I would go to my farm tech classes, and eventually I got my license, and CVS actually paid for my farm tech license for the next like 2 years or something like that. And then when I couldn't afford it again, one of the pharmacists who I was really close with gave me the money. I think it was like $50. I was in school, I had rent, I had bills, I was broke. So I worked in a pharmacy throughout my time in school, and I gained so much experience. I couldn't have asked for more experience than working in a pharmacy. And I worked in retail for about 2 years, and then I moved into clinical pharmacy. So I worked in a hospital making IVs and stuff like that throughout my entire undergrad experience. But I really think that experience, I know that experience is what allowed for me to enter regulatory affairs and the pharmaceutical industry now. Because I was working in a pharmacy for those few years, the recruiter who got me my position at my first pharma company was like, I'm hiring you because of your pharmacy experience. So I just say for anyone in college, make sure you're getting that experience in your industry now. Make sure you're putting your major to practice sooner than later. Don't wait because it'll be a lot harder for you to find a job. In regard to the rest of my undergrad experience, like I had professors tell me to change my major, to take a year off of school. I had people telling me I wasn't gonna make it through the pre-med program. I had nights where I was miserable and depressed because of OChem, like absolutely horrible. In terms of my social life, like I had really great friends and a strong support system. And there would be times when I really wanted to go out with my friends, but I couldn't because I had to get on the bus at 6 a.m. to get to work by 8 a.m. because I worked at one point 2 towns over. And in order to make extra money, I would work at CVS pharmacies out of my town. So I would there's West Haven, New Haven, Milford, New Milford, all these different type of towns. I would literally get on the bus to get to work all the time. And then during like holiday seasons, I picked up a job at Macy's and Charlotte Russe to make some extra money as well. So overall, like I worked my butt off during undergrad. Like I would go out with my friends, yeah, but sometimes I would literally not even be able to sleep and I would just go to work from a party, which is absolutely, don't do that, horrible. I remember I would show up to bars in my scrubs sometimes because from the hospital, I would be like, I'm not going home to change and I want to go out. So I would show up in my scrubs. Absolutely crazy, I know, like cringe, but my undergrad experience definitely was, I relied a lot on my time management. I relied a lot on my resilience. I relied a lot on my faith. I relied on my friends and my family and a lot of support from them. I really just had to stay grounded and stay focused on the end goal. And even though I didn't really know what I was gonna end up doing or where I was gonna be, if you would have asked me as a freshman or a sophomore or junior, as even a senior, did I know I would be here today doing what I'm doing Career Savage, working in regulatory affairs, pioneering the pharma industry? I'm gonna be in med school. Like I'm gonna be a doctor. Don't talk to me about anything that's not being a doctor because that's all I knew. I think one thing about my undergrad experience that I really just love and appreciated is that I wasn't afraid to try different things and put myself out there and put my foot down and really be resilient and focused on what I wanted. And I knew that I wanted to be in science because I knew I loved health and medicine. What I was gonna do in health and medicine and how I was gonna do it, I didn't know for sure, but I was willing to be open to opportunities. So if you're in college right now, be flexible, be open to the opportunities. Network with people like nobody's business. If it's hard for you to find a job, put yourself out there. Do you know how hard it is to walk into pharmacies and have people look at you like you have 6 heads and they're like, just to submit a job application online, like why are you coming to the store asking for a job? And I still kept going to different pharmacies because I didn't care. I was like, until I get a yes, I'm not gonna stop. So you just have to be really resilient and push yourself in trying to get what you want out of your career. I hope hearing about my undergrad experience in terms of my career helped you. And one thing I also want to just touch on is on top of all the resilience and taking my class credits and like dealing with social life and all that stuff, I went through a lot. Like I lost my dad my sophomore year of college and that transformed my whole being. It was really hard for me to navigate through my undergrad experience knowing that my father had passed away and I was on the other side of the country and I never went home for Christmas. I never came home for Thanksgiving, holidays. I worked on my birthday because we were normally in school during that time anyway. I worked on Christmases. I worked on New Year's. Every holiday you can possibly imagine, I was working in the pharmacy, trying to get my experience, studying for the MCAT, talking to pharmacists, networking with people. I still talk to some of those people that I worked with to this day. I hope my experience gives you a little insight into what you need to be doing, especially to pre-med biology majors. Don't think that your only option is to be a doctor because it's not. There are so many other things you can do. You just have to take the time to explore it. Make sure you guys check out some of my other content where I talk about regulatory affairs. I talk about my master's in public health and what that journey was like for me. If you guys want to hear more about my college experience, just let me know. I would love to talk about, pre-med bio majors in general, and I'll probably make a video about that. Make sure you guys leave comments down below about your undergrad experience. I want to hear what it's like for you, and I'll try and answer some of your comments and questions as well. Yeah, and I think that's it. So until next time, guys, bye.